Well, good morning, students. Here we are, ready for our new lesson this week. We're going to pick up, continuing to build on what we looked at last week with pixel art. And I wanted to challenge you to really get to know how the screens that you look at, even as you're watching me right now, is made up of little individual squares that are called pixels. And that word pixel comes from a phrase from picture element. So each tiny little element of the pictures on the screen, every little dot that makes up what looks like a seamless video is just one element in the larger picture. And so we shorten that and call it a pixel for a picture element. Well, today I want to share with you a comprehension and exposure to resolution. Now, I've been weaving this into some of the videos already, asking you to try to count up the lines from the art that you would make by writing your name and drawing some of the pictures that we made, houses and a football and a fish. And as you count those lines, what you've actually been counting is something called resolution. There's a more complicated word for it. Sometimes it's called pixel density. It gets abbreviated with the three letters DPI, stands for dots per inch, or PPI, pixels per inch. But I'd better explain that when we're in person, the concept of density. But resolution, that is the word that I want you to think of. Sometimes we use that word when we talk about New Year's resolutions. This is a different kind of resolution altogether. Resolution refers to the amount of lines that are in the vertical as opposed to running along the horizontal. And so in fact, right now, as you're watching this, you are watching this on a resolution that's 480 pixels in this direction right here. See if I can get my fingers to work right in the camera. Yeah, so 480 is the pixel resolution of this video that you're watching, which is very low definition. Doesn't even meet the minimums for what we call SD or standard definition, and it's certainly far from high definition. But what I'd like to do is give you an example as to what that looks like and what some of the unique properties are when we begin to increase the resolution and thereby increase the amount of pixel density that can be contained in a single space. So we're gonna look at a grid. I'm gonna do a drawing that's gonna have a certain height and length. It's gonna look like a square, and inside of that square, we're gonna draw some lines. And then in the same size square, I'm not going to make it bigger, I'm not going to make it smaller, I'm going to use the same size. We're going to increase the resolution by drawing more lines, and then we're going to take a look at the difference of the art and what it looks like and what we can do with it by increasing the resolution. So let's take a look. Okay. Well, we are looking at the concept of resolution. I want to give you an example here of what that looks like as we try to count the number of lines. So here I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to divide it into these three parts here. And we're going to try with pixel art like we've been looking at using the letter A. So for the first one, I am going to only draw a couple of columns here on this side, like this, and then to make a grid, see if I can make sure I get this just right. There we go. So if we were to look at this cube that I've made, you can count the number of lines on this side. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on this side, and across the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's the same on the bottom 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so the resolution of this little square is going to be, we'll use the bottom first would be 5 by 7. And now over here I'm going to make one that has a higher resolution by including an increased number of density. That means more little cubes, more little squares in the same amount of space. So this will take me just a minute here to draw these. Okay, now you'll notice this one is about the same size as this one, but look at how many more lines we have. In fact, I'm going to try to count them here. Let's see if we can do it together. Ready? On along the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So more than doubled what we had there. And let's check the bottom as well. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 along the bottom. And so the resolution here on this lower one is going to be 17 by 20 for resolution. Now, here's what I want to point out to you. I want you to see what happens to some artwork that we would create inside of this higher resolution as opposed to this low resolution one. So let's make the letter A. I'm going to start on this top one by coloring our pixel art here. Okay, and make this side. And let's make our little cross member here. Bingo. There is the letter A in pixel form. And now we're going to do the same thing here on this one, except with a higher resolution. And we're going to follow the same pattern that we did on this one, now on this higher one. So let's just real quick look and make sure that we get it right. We'll start with one in the center and then 2 on either side. So I'm going to pick one right here in the center. That's easy to color in, right? And then just 2 on either side. Bingo, just like that. So we have this one, this one, this one represented here, here, and here. And now we're going to make the next part going down, which is 3 down on either side. So 1, 2, 3. And over on this side, 1, 2, 3. And last thing we need to do is put the cross member in right here. And it looks like it comes on the third one down. So 1, 2, 3 right there. And there we have the same letter, the same shape as we had here. But what is different between them? Can you see what happened? What we have is we have this representation of the letter in pixel form here of A. We have the same one now that's much smaller, meaning fine details, which means we can add much more into this space. And we don't have to make something at all quite as small as what we have on our low resolution image right here. 5 by 7 is much smaller than 17 by 20. And here we have this this A that looks smaller, but it actually affords us the ability to add much more detail. In fact, if I were to pick quite a few of these, I can't quite do it with this one here. Let's see, count my lines up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. So if I were to color, if you hold on 1 minute here, color all those in and consider that 1 pixel for A, means I got to move over 3 more. So I'll color these in. And if you give me just a minute here, I think you'll see what it is that I'm going to make. Take a look at that. Well, apart from what I had to do here in the middle, because I had to cover up the little A that we made, I made the same shape, but look at how much more curve you get in here as to what you get right here. Here, it's very blocky. In fact, if I had a different colored pen, it'd be a lot easier for me to show you that. I have a pencil here I could show you just to put a circle around it. See the blockiness that we have here? And take a look at here on how nice and smooth it is running over there.
So what this teaches us is that the higher the resolution, the finer the details we are able to make, as opposed to a low resolution. Now, when you're looking at a computer, when we had computers a long time ago, and it maybe seems long ago for the kids, maybe not for the adults, but you had a resolution running across the bottom of 800, so it would be 800 by 600, and this is, I think, I gotta double check on that, but I think that this was what we called a VGA resolution for a television output, was 800 lines in this direction by 600 in this direction. And now this has been scaled up so much that we now have something called HD resolution. Maybe you've heard that word before, an HD TV. Well, an HD TV is one that has 180 lines that runs across this, and I think that is 180 runs across the horizontal here, but 180 pixels creates what's HD. And now it's gone up even higher to what we have today, which is pretty easy to find. Most televisions that you can buy nowadays are in what's called 4K resolution. That means 4,000 pixels on a line, if you can believe that. And I was in Best Buy the other day, and they have this all the way up to a whopping 8,000 lines, 8K they call it. So it's just incredible the amount of detail that you can fit in. But this is what I want you to understand. The difference between resolution is a change in the amount of detail that you are able to put into a picture.
All right, just like you saw there in the drawing, we were able to add a lot more fine detail on the one with the higher resolution than on the lower resolution. Let me show you how we can do the same thing on one of the simulators and one of these websites that we can draw art just like the one that we've been using. This one's going to be a little bit different just so I can showcase exactly what I'm wanting to show you for increasing the resolution. But just like the one that we've been using before. Let's take a look. All right, so what I'd like to do is the same thing that we just did on the graph paper that I drew, and that is we're going to make the letter A right here. There is one more line. There we go, little letter A. So here with the letter A, you'll notice that we have those rough edges right here, rough corners. And if I were to zoom out a little bit so you can see, in fact, there's not a lot of detail here in this image. So I'm going to zoom back in, move over a little bit, and now let's increase our resolution. And we will make a larger letter A by including more pixels. In fact, if I just drag my mouse here, there we go. And now I'm going to use every other one. And look at that. There is a larger letter A. And on this one, you'll see there's finer details so that the resolution increased from this, which was just 6, to this, which I kind of made a little too tall. Anyways, the A is a little bit stretched out. And maybe I can do one more over here, make it extra big. Let's see how big I can actually make an A before I run out of space. Let's see here. Can we go one more? There we go. How's that look? This is going to be great. Very big for resolution. All right. And now we'll go down, fill up most of the screen. In fact, I think I might have to go a third line over just to make it look proper we'll add these in this, and how about a couple more? How's that look? Good? And then we'll do our cross member here. One more. Boom. Wow, look at this one. So our little resolution A, you'll notice it kind of looks like an A, but it doesn't have much detail here for the top. This one more than doubles it here on this side. And then this giant one that we've made has a lot more detail. So as you increase your resolution, you increase the amount of detail that you are able to show on your screen. Well, students, that's the lesson for today. I hope that you have an appreciation for resolution, that as things get smaller, even if the screen size doesn't change, you can reduce the number of lines, and what happens when you do that? Bam! Things can look pixelated, and now you are missing all the detail that was there before, and things can look blocky and chunky, right? But as we kick that resolution to boop, back up, now you see all those fine details once more. So with resolution, that's the idea that I'm hoping to convey, that you can have an appreciation for what you're looking at on your screens. And we're going to continue to carry some of these lessons even further, that you get really well grounded in technology. Don't forget a couple of things like always this week. I want you to be working your 15 minutes a day on typing. Don't forget to keep those fingers right on the home bar, and then try to go to some, maybe if you're at the beginner level, work your way through those more difficult letters to reach for some of the harder ones, and then go on to the advanced level. As we work up in our grades, some of the 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders, maybe you want to try one of the games that they have there. Remember, the website Nitro Type is a fun one that you can use to measure how fast you're able to type, and then race and earn awards. And then I know some of you have your own typing programs to work on as well. So with that, I'd like to thank you for watching, and we will see you on Thursday for some interaction time. Until then, I hope you stay safe and have fun. Bye.